right, guys, welcome to the first episode of Bodybuilding News Today. I am your host, Sanch, and let's talk about Big Ramy. So if you guys do not know, if you have lived under a rock these last few weeks, Big Ramy has won the 2020 Mr. Olympia, and I think this is really what the judges wanted to see from Big Ramy. This is what the fans especially wanted to see from Big Ramy. You know, looking at Big Ramy's competitive history when coming into the sport in 2012 and winning his first few shows in the amateur league, and then hopping right into the New York Pro, winning it in 2013, I believe. Yeah, 2013, and then hopping right into the Mr. Olympia in 2013 and getting 8th. A lot of people, a lot of the fans really wanted to see a dialed in, a conditioned version of Big Ramy. He's always been big. He's always had these freaky muscle parts, the legs, the chest. A lot of people really wanted to see Big Ramy winning the Olympia, you know, a decade ago. No disrespect, of course. And like I said, the fans, the judges, they've wanted to see this for a long time. So it really is a sweet moment for the fans. I know I even cried a little bit watching the live stream when Big Ramy was announced the winner. And I really don't see any critiques, any big glaring weaknesses or problems with Big Ramy. It was definitely mentioned a couple times on a couple different larger platforms on YouTube specifically, that when Big Ramy was getting ready for the Mr. Olympia, you know, 1 week out, 2 weeks out, some people were saying that they're kind of worried about Big Ramy. You know, Big Ramy isn't posting a lot of content. He's not posting physique updates like some of the other competitors are doing. And I think that was very calculated with his coaches, Chad Nicholls and Dennis James this year. They knew exactly what Big Ramy had. They knew exactly what level of conditioning Big Ramy was bringing to the stage, and they really wanted to surprise everyone. And like I said about people critiquing and worrying about Big Ramy coming into the Mr. Olympia, some people were saying that he's in panic mode, you know, doing crazy drop sets at the gym where they were trying to deplete fat in the delts or something crazy like that. I'm not going to throw names out. That's not what we do here. But there was some somewhat silly things being said, and who knows, maybe they were just trying to be funny, but there were some things said about Big Ramy leading up to the Mr. Olympia. I'm sure that they feel silly now about the things that they said. It's probably Big Ramy's 2020 physique is probably my favorite version of him in the forms of conditioning since probably 2014. I know when he was at the New York Pro in 2014, he had a very dialed in midsection, crazy conditioning. I really loved the package that he brought that year. And another thing I want to mention is his coach, Big Ramy's coach, Dennis James, who was, for the most part, helping him in person. He was the main coach leading into the Mr. Olympia, really offering Big Ramy a place to stay at his home in Arizona and a gym to train at, really taking all of the stress, all of the potential hazards and stressors out of Big Ramy's Olympia prep, you know, 1 week, 2 weeks out from the Mr. O. And I noticed that on one of Big Ramy's most recent posts, he was really talking about the posing that Dennis James was putting him through, the amount of posing, how long the posing sessions were. I think that it was a great decision by Dennis James. A great strategy leading into the Mr. Olympia was to put Big Ramy through very long posing sessions, and also having multiple posing sessions a day, sometimes even 3 to 4 posing sessions a day. And now that we have mentioned one of his coaches, Dennis James, let's go ahead and give the spotlight to Chad Nicholls, a legendary coach in the IFBB and bodybuilding in general. Now, Chad Nicholls was specifically known for coaching Big Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia. And it's actually pretty cool to see that he's kind of coming back into the spotlight here with Big Ramy, as Big Ramy is winning his first Mr. Olympia here in 2020. And I'm very excited to see what Chad and Ramy can do in the next few years. Now, Chad Nicholls is known for conditioning. He's also known for, not really holding back when it comes to dieting and really, if you know what I mean, pushing the envelope on different things, on different supplements to bring his athletes in the best condition, the most driest versions of these athletes. And I think that's exactly what happened here with Big Ramy. I can't confirm or deny exactly what they used or what strategies they used. I'm sure Chad Nicholls will disclose that eventually, maybe. But I think that they definitely did exactly what they needed to do to bring, debatably, the best version of Big Ramy we've seen in the past decade, honestly. And actually, now that I mentioned Big Ramy, I've seen some comparisons on Fernando Arroyo's and Sulios and Bison Tries, a couple of those comparison pages, Mark's Max Muscle, some fantastic content there. They were talking about these comparisons with Big Ramy versus Big Ronnie. And I'm trying to think of, if there's any like underlining reason for this, or they just like to see these athletes together. I think it's just fun for the fans to kind of see, what people look like compared to other people from different generations. Obviously, Big Ronnie was still competing in the 2000s, so, somewhat over a decade ago, almost 2 decades ago, when Big Ronnie was in his prime. I don't have too much to say here. I think it's just a fun comparison between Big Ronnie and Big Ramy. And lastly, I'll leave you guys with this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about what you think Big Ramy can do to improve in the 2021 season. I'll give you guys just one thing. The upper quads. I think that he could do some more conditioning in the upper quads. If you look at some pictures of potentially Jay Cutler in his upper quad area, a lot more separation there. I think I would love to see that in Big Ramy. Looking at his 2014 pictures, you can see a little bit more conditioning there. So I think that Big Ramy can bring that conditioning up in that specific part. But I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on Big Ramy and his conditioning. Where can he improve? Is there muscle that he needs to add in any areas? I think that's a crazy thought to think, but I'd love to hear it in the comment sections below from you guys, the fans. Thank you so much for watching the first installment of the Bodybuilding News Network, the show dedicated to bringing physique updates and bodybuilding news in general to the fans. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Sanch, and I'll see you guys in the next one.